and that's what you guys want to be. Okay, you want to be successful in what you guys are endeavoring to do and what you guys aim to do for the next what? Months, you know, that you guys are here. So that's one of the things that we want to talk about today. Get your book out and highlight certain things that you see, because one, yes.
Do we have to are we learning to, every chapter is got a vocab section?
Huh?
Do we learn to memorize the vocab?
I'm gonna give you some vocab, yes, for your test. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an extra highlighter, Ms. Womack?
Do
Do you have an extra Oh, you're awesome. Never mind. Oh, never mind. Thank you.
Okay, now here's the deal. Now remember, you guys, you guys listen to me carefully. You know, this class here is the class to try to get you guys mentally what? Prepared for what you're getting ready to do. So I'm not going to spoon feed you guys, because there's not one doctor that will. Okay, it's not one office manager that will. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is we're going to start doing some little critical thinking. You guys want to see how to organize yourself, because the way I work, you may not work that way. The way I learn, you may not learn that way. So, but all thing I ask you to do is do what what I want you to do is do what I ask you to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and if you do what I ask you to do, you won't go wrong. You know, and it's black and white. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of times we try to put a lot of color in it. You know, if I say go up to the board and write the letter D, that's all I want you to do. Don't turn around and ask me if I want it capitalized and, how do you want it? Do you want it on this side? Do you want it on that side? It didn't matter, right? I just want you to write the letter what? D, black and white. If I wanted to give you details, I'd have gave you what? Details. Right? So, and a lot of times that's how we got to look at it. Sometimes we put too much, into things. And that's when it comes what? Confusing. It is what it is. Stop making things out to be something it's not. Okay? And that's why I tell students all the time, it'll make your life so much easier when you're learning, and when you're, actually doing that. So I will be giving you guys, some words that I want you guys to know, okay, for your test for Thursday, okay? And I'm also going to break you guys up into groups, okay? Most likely we're only going to have probably like 3 groups because the class is small. And when I do that, you guys choose a leader. Then I want you guys to pick a name of your group, give me a name, for your group. And we're going to actually going to do something, throughout the 6 weeks with group projects and things like that, okay? So with that said, I want you guys, every time that we go over a chapter, like now, we're doing chapter 1, so you guys turn to chapter 1, okay? And I'm going to turn to chapter 1 then. So, if you look at the beginning of chapter 1, I need you guys to highlight critical thinking, and I forgot about the calendar. Anybody do the calendar?
I went to go print it, and my printer said no ink.
Oh, did you die? You should put it on a thumb drive. I would've.
I can do it on break for you at the LLC.
Y'all ain't no good. Y'all let me know. Y'all lost y'all pay. Y'all gotta pay y'all got to pay $25 if y'all just brought it in. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Empathy. And if you look at critical thinking is the constant practice of considering all aspects of a situation when deciding what to believe or what to do. And how many of you guys know that we use critical thinking all the time throughout our lives, whether we know it or not? Okay? Then you have empathy, sensitivity to the individual needs and reactions of patients, learning style, the way an individual perceives and processes information to learn new material.
Are we
Highlighted that too. If I call it out, I want you to highlight it. All right? Perceiving, how an individual looks at information and sees it as real. how an individual internalizes new information and makes it his or her own. Okay? Professional behavior. Actions that identify the medical assistant as a member of a health profession, including being dependable, providing respectful patient care, exercising initiative, demonstrating a positive attitude, and working as an effective team member. The next one would be reflection. The process of considering new information and internalizing it to create new ways of examining information. Now, you guys are going to get some of these on your test, but I'm giving these to you right now, and I'm going to give them to you as we go through the chapter, because that's going to be your mid-final. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm giving it to you ahead of time. So every time we go over a chapter, this week, I'm going to give you those terms, because you have 3 weeks to get them in your system, because that's going to be your mid-final. Okay? Is that okay? That good?
Knowing each word.
Knowing each word, and most likely I'll probably put it in matching form. Some of them, in matching form, a multiple choice, however you want to put it, in that way. So you're going to have a lot, of terms, because you're going to be from chapter 1 through 13. Most likely your midterm is going to cover. Okay? You know that you don't. If you look over your syllabus, you know we don't do chapter what? 8.
8.
Okay? We don't do chapter 8. So you don't worry about looking at chapter 8. All right? But you will be doing this. So as we go, you're going to see that the book pretty much, the outline pretty much follow your book. Okay? So you guys can be highlighting. I can tell you what's going to be on your test as we go. Okay? So we can go from there. Becoming a successful student, your learning objectives. And always begin, because you're going to see this again. You're going to see the word objective. Mm-hmm. And every time we see learning objectives of objectives, who can tell me what objective is?
What we're going to be doing.
Exactly. Objective is really what you're going to get out of the subject once it's done. Okay? So once we get through with this chapter, you should be able to examine learning preferences and how individual learning styles affect student success, apply time management, problem-solving techniques to enhance learning, discuss the role of assertiveness in an effective communication, integrate effective study skills into your daily activities, okay? So those are the things that we're going to actually look over and discuss today. Design test-taking strategies to help you take charge of your success. Some of you guys may say, you know what, I don't know how to take a fill-in-the-blank test. I don't know how to take a test, a question test. Does that make sense? I need matching. So everybody have different ways of doing what? Testing, and how they test. I've had students who know the test, and when they look at it, just go blank. But if I sit before them and read each question out to them, they can answer it. Sometimes I have to do students that way. I do whatever it takes to help you, because I know once I see you guys, I get to know you guys by personality. I get to know you guys, whether or not you're trying or you're just trying to, go through the motions or whatever. And, I could tell the difference. But, I have students that really want to do this, but they're struggling, with learning, or they're struggling taking tests. Well, I'm the one to help you, okay? Incorporate critical thinking and reflection to make mental connections as material is learned. Assess the importance of developing professional behaviors as a member of the Allied Health Team. So if anybody ever asks you, what is your work, what is your business, or what is your occupation, it's telling them that you're Allied Health Care. That you're in Allied Health Care, basically, and that's what it is. You don't have to say I'm a medical assistant. You don't have to say anything. You just simply say I'm in Allied Health, because that covers everything. Because that's what you do. That's the team you're part of. You're part of the Allied Health Team. Okay? Student success. Medical assistants are important members of the healthcare team. You would be expected to display professional behaviors, dependability, respectful patient care, empathy, and a commitment to lifelong learning. In this, and then to become a successful medical assistant, you must first become a what? Successful student. So in that, you see everything that's deemed. Are you dependable? Can I depend on you as your, right now, I'm just saying, I'm your employee. You come to class, but you're working for me. Can I depend on you? Can I depend on you to be here every day? Can I depend on you, if I ask, basically, you guys to do something, can I know that you're going to do that? Can I depend on you? Because when you go in the doctor's office, doctors depend on you. They don't have time to worry about whether or not you're coming into work or not. They don't have time to worry about that at all. Why? Because they coming in with a mindset ready to do what? Work. And to see their patients. So their mindset is not whether or not you're there and prepared. Because if they hired you, they expect for you to do what? Be there. So some of us need a little training. Some of us need a little, wake-up call, right? And this is your training ground. For those of you guys that's not used to getting up early in the morning, you have to be here at 8 o'clock. Your doctor's office, you have to clock in at 8. So that really means that you need to be really at your doctor's office at 7:30. That's the truth. That you really need to be, if nobody's there, you still need to be in front of the, the driveway or wherever you're working. You need to be sitting in your car or in the office, or, right at 7:30, no later than 7:45. Okay? Because you need to make sure that everything is what? Is okay. Everything is good. Because it's a shame. The patient should never beat you to the office. To be honest, your patient should never beat you there. You should always be there ready to greet them with a smile, whether you're the front person or the back person. So doctors ask you, are you dependable? And how they find out before they hire you, they call here. And sometimes they ask, was that student dependable? I may not get the call, but somebody may get the call, and they're going to look you up in the system. And they're going to see whether or not you was a student that missed every other day, came once a week, or whatever, and they're going to simply tell them, no, they're not dependable. By what? By your attendance. Things happen. Some of us have things to happen. Then they're going to look at that. And that's why it's always good to be able to be open. Does that make sense? Yeah. To your superior, to the person that you're working with. Because how can somebody help you if they don't know? Like you told me about your vacation, right? Now, if you would have never told me about that vacation, and all of a sudden became MIA for 4 days, that would have sort of made me look at your character a little bit, right? Because you should have took the responsibility to tell me, along the way. But now that you told me, I look at this person as being responsible, wanting this, and asking, can you work with me? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have students who we'll call and see how they're doing on their site, and the site people, now I don't know about it here because I haven't yet, got into extern, but I know it's the same way all over the world. There's no difference, in the medical school. Students go and you call, and I'm calling, and, and trying to check on my students and seeing how they're doing, and the office manager said, we haven't seen them in 3 days. What? What? Have they called? No. They haven't called me either. Haven't called the extern. They haven't called nobody. Just decided to be MIA. Now, what do you think that person at that time? You think that doctor want to hire them? No. They're not going to hire them. So those of us that need work on that, and I know with some of us in here that need work on that. Okay? Being on time, getting up, preparing yourself, making sure that you're here and being dependent, very dependable, respectful, patient care. This is training ground. You guys are going to learn how to respect each other, right? You learn how to respect each other. You learn how to get along with each other. You learn how to talk to each other. Because you got some people that could come in with a nasty attitude, and I love them kind of people because I like breaking them down, you know. I love people that come in and you know, rude. Like little Monique that just came in here for, you know, I'm not to call her, I'm not talking about Monique, but you know. But anyway, seriously, you know, you see how mannerism was, right? You know, it's like she would be that, you know, and I said she would sit right there and just, you know, and if, you know, I was saying, okay, look here, little girl. You know, I said, we ain't gonna go through this here. You know, I ain't gonna sit up and let you give me no headache. I'm gonna give you a headache before you give me one. You got that? You know? And so my thing is that, and sometimes, you know, and I'm like, you just spoil rotten, you know, you leave that outside. I ain't got time for your spoilness now. You come here to work to be an MA. You know? So, and a lot of times, you know, and if I didn't care nothing about her, if I didn't care nothing about whether or not she graduated, I would let her sit right there, have a rude attitude, probably roll her up a couple times and ask her to dismiss her out of my class. Don't even, you know, put up with it. But my thing is to see everybody be successful. And I know that a lot of times when people come in with things, it may not have nothing to do with me. You know, so my thing is to chip away, you know, and see, because I see the good in everybody. Chip away until I get to that good person. You know, the person that can smile, the person that can actually, you know, communicate. You know, because I mean, you disrespect people when you sit up and roll your eyes at them. That's disrespectful, and you don't even know them. That's disrespectful when somebody come in and they want to sit by you and you know, acting like you own the chairs and the tables. You know, that's very disrespectful. I didn't want to come sit by me. Why not? You know? So, and that's, and you get that. You guys may get that in the break room. When you go in the break room, people looking at you like, you know, like, who are you? You know, whatever. You know, I want to say something about, if I think I'm too religious, but I'll let you know who I am. You understand? And that's how I walk, you know. So my thing is that, you know, okay, you just keep going, you know. But that's how people do you. You know, some people could be very nasty. Oh, you're going to experience it before you leave here, you know. But what do? You don't what? You don't let nobody feed into it. You keep going and say, how you doing? You know, be like, what's her name, Rasputin? How you doing? You know. You know? What's her name? Wendy Williams. How you doing? You know?
Okay.
Make their day, you know. And so, but seriously, respect is so awesome. You got to learn how to do that. And I learned over the years of teaching, you know, some students, and can I just be real? You know, some students bring their home bringing or their upbringing, you know, into the classroom. You know, the way they were raised, or the way, you know, or how, or even, and realizing that sometimes they got to go home and they got to fight. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. To survive. You know, they got to fight to, you know what I'm trying to say, to make sure everything is okay. So they think they have to fight with everybody, you know, but that's not the case. So this is what this class is for, because before you can help anybody else, you got to learn how to help yourself effectively. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Effectively. How many of you guys sometimes feel like you help everybody else, but nobody's helping you? You pour out into everybody else, but nobody's pouring into you. Mm-hmm. You know? So that means that you have a void somewhere. So you got to learn how to fill that void. You know? And not let that bother you, because it's better to be useful than useless. Does that make sense? You know? So use me. You know, it don't matter. You know, because I know basically what, you know, who I am. You know, and I know sometimes it does feel like you're always, you know, pouring out, and you feel, you know, and sometimes you're going to feel like that on your job, you know, at work. But you got to learn how to go and find something. Does that make sense? A positive thing, you know, to fill your void, and so you can go on, because before it's all said and done, you go into a state of depression. You try to go to work depressed. You try to go to work upset. Then you won't be what? Effective. Everybody will know it. Patients will know it. Doctors will know it. Your co-workers will know it. What's wrong with you today? What's wrong with you? You know? And you want to learn how to do what? Be that successful student. Not to say nothing not gonna never happen. But you gotta learn how to, when things happen, you gotta learn how not to let it affect your day. And I tell people you're always gonna have problems. My philosophy is this. I don't let my problems master me. I learn how to master my problems and solve them and keep it moving. And if I can't solve them, I loose it and let it go. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't worry about it. Because there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, guys, you find yourself trying to, keep trying to do something about something, and it ain't happening. You're trying to make this person act right. No, they ain't gonna act right. You're trying to make them act right. Doing everything under the sun. Trying to make them act right. Buying them this, doing this, cooking this, flipping and doing this, cleaning, doing everything. Oh, maybe they act right if I do this. Oh, maybe they act right if I do this. Maybe they act right, and every time you do it, ain't nothing happening. You just ran yourself to the ground looking crazy. That's why I used to tell myself, you just make yourself like a complete idiot, because that person's not going to change. Or that situation is not going to change. On your job, you may have an office manager who may not like you. You can never change her perception of you. Never. In a million years. That's who she is. Like Medea, want somebody to show you who they are, believe them. And don't believe them. Hey, and just do the best that you can. That's it. So again, we talk about all of this, and you guys are going to realize that everything we talk about, we're going to touch a lot of things and it does this because it helps you. Because how many of you know that you got to have a healthy home? Does that make sense? You got to have a healthy life in order to have healthy what? Success. Does that make sense? And so that you can be what? Successful. It doesn't mean that you got to have $1 million in the bank. I'm not saying that. It doesn't mean that one day you're going, you're talking about health is not driving a Benz. You know what I'm trying to say? Health is not living in a $300,000 home. I'm not talking about that kind of. I'm talking about when you can, wake up in the mornings and you can feel good about yourself. You can feel good about what you're doing. You can feel good about being a mother. You can feel good about being a friend. You can feel good about being, the best worker you can be because you're doing everything within your power, right? Within you, right? To do the best that you can. And you let it go from there. Because when you know that you put 100% in it, hey, what else can you do? So that's what you get up every day. Just believing that that's who you are, that's what you're going to do. Now, along the way, we may have some issues we may have to get rid of. And that's what we talk about. Some of us have anger issues. Some of us have low self-esteem issues. Right? Some of us, it's amazing some of the stories I hear. So when I tell you guys things, you're going to be like, okay, it's amazing. Because what happens, once you learn how to open up, who was that? You, this young lady here. I don't care what you said. She freed herself yesterday. Mm-hmm. And she freed herself from y'all. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. From the environment. Because now she said, I don't care how you guys look at me. This is what I've done. This is what but this is where I'm going this way. So I wake up every day, and I believe she wake up every day saying, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. So her atmosphere, the way she feels about herself, and I guarantee you, can I just be honest with you, whatever she did in the past, something led her to that predicament. You know what I'm trying to say? Something led her to that area. So some kind of way she's probably still overcoming some things, but she's made a conscious decision to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't care what happened to me in the past. I don't care what that doesn't control me. And some of you guys got to realize that. Yesterday, can I just be, y'all going to realize that I'm just very open. And when I'm talking about success, because all of this goes with everything. Yesterday when I was, and I'm kind of weird. Y'all probably think I'm kind of weird. But anyway, yesterday when I was in the class, I was sort of like, y'all gonna think I'm weird when I say this, but don't take it as a religious thing, because I'm not religious, and have this thing to where if I come in the classroom, if a student have a headache, I can pick it up. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I can pick your head up, it's crazy. And I believe because I'm just that connected to what I do. Does that make sense? I love what I do, and I care about my students. I care about them, so and I believe that it has a lot to do with that, with a lot of other things. But yesterday I was in here and I'm like, okay, somebody's struggling, and they're struggling mentally. Do you know what I'm saying? To make this thing happen, because so much is going on. There's a lot of things going on, and you're trying to balance it. Am I talking to somebody?
Probably one-on-one.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about serious. I'm not talking about no little mediocre stuff. I'm talking about some serious things, going on. And you're trying to balance it, man. You're trying to, and I picked that up. You just, you're trying to really struggle and balance this thing out, with what you need to do in life. And you're trying to see yourself 2 years, maybe 6 months, a year from where you are right now, because you're trying to grasp something that you never had before. Does that make sense? But it seems like it's something trying to weigh you down a little bit. It's like it's just trying to weigh you down just a little bit, and it's a struggle. But it's okay. Because the thing is, if you keep coming, if you just keep coming, if you just keep coming, if you just keep coming, and that's all I can tell you, just keep coming. Because sooner or later, you're gonna have that. You're gonna break through, and it's gonna be it's gonna be like a sweatless victory. Keep coming. And I don't know why I'm telling you guys that, but yesterday I felt that. I'm like, man, I want you guys to, I know we talk and stuff, and I tell you, I have the students that I've had before. I hope that, I know, one of my students, and then they said you want to call names or whatever. I know you're not, but I know she wouldn't mind, because she has an awesome story. Each class I've had have had awesome stories that would blow your mind. I mean, blow your mind. I mean, just like, and one day, going through this, they just out and said, you know what? And I just, had one student said, all of a sudden, 30 years or something married, my husband just came and told me he don't want me anymore. He walked out.
Mm.
So now she's trying to juggle what? School, life, and all that is deemed to try to make you not be what? Successful. And that's it. That's all it's cut out to do. All these things, all these distractions, all these obstacles, all these mountains, and all these things, the number one goal, and the only thing it's cut out to do is to just make you not be what? Successful. It has no other motive. Has no other motive but just that. If you guys can remember that, and look at that thing and say, you know what? Your only motive in my life is to make me not be successful. But being success is up to me. It's not up to it's not up to the issue. It's up to you. I used to always tell my students to say this: if it's gonna be, then it's up to me. And that's how you gotta look at it. So when you guys, in the supermarket, you're at home, you go home and things start happening, and trying to say, you can't go back to school, you can't do this, you can't whatever, and you look at that thing and say, you know what, if it's gonna be, it's up to me. It's not up to my situation, it's up to who? Me. If I gotta come to school with a loaf of bread, or go home to a loaf of bread and some mayonnaise, guess what? I'm going. Because if I stay at home, I'm going to stay at home with that same loaf of bread and mayonnaise. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well keep pushing it forward. I remember when I was going to school, traveling 100-something miles one day, every day, my baby got sick, and back then you could only miss 3 days and they failed you. You had to, repeat the month. They wasn't playing. I missed those 3 days. My GPA was 97, I think, .2, .5, something like that, So I had a good grade average. So I go to, thinking that everything was okay. They told me I had to stay 4 more weeks. What? For what? Oh, you missed those days, but my grade is good. You failed that module because of your attendance. But I'm traveling 100-something miles a day. My baby was sick. I have an excuse. You mean I gotta repeat that mile? Just, it was no way around it. I was mad. I cried all the way. I cried all the way home. And I was telling my sister, I'm not going back. I said, they can't understand that my baby was sick and I'm still a good student. And, I showed that the whole time I was there. And if they can't understand that, then I don't need to go back to that school, And I went home crying like a baby. And what came to my mind was whether I stay at home or I go to school. Those same 4 weeks gonna pass by. So if I allow those 4 weeks to pass by, I would have been like, you know what, if I went, I'll be finished now. So if I decided to go back and finish those 4 weeks out, and guess what, if I hadn't, 2 years later, I wouldn't be teaching at the same school. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be here. So sometimes when things happen like that, don't let it upset your day. You keep it moving. That's right. Keep it moving. If you gotta come, and I said, I ain't got a whole lot of money, Yes, I do. I'm claiming it. Yes, I do. Anyway. When I don't, I'm just in between my blessings, So I don't never say I'm broke. But anyway, I think that anytime you guys need something, it's I'm trying to make it. I don't care what you say about me. You got a quarter. Look, you got a quarter. I gotta catch this bus. Matter of fact, look, y'all, look, I want to make it. Anybody got a quarter? It takes me. How much is it? For the week? Anybody got a quarter? By the time everybody give you a quarter, you got enough, what, to catch the bus? So you need to let go of that pride. Does that make sense? And I'm not saying be a beggar, because some people do you like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. Because I used to get students all the time in my office. I used to love to shut my door. Yeah, I know what that means. We had to come to Jesus meeting. Because when I used to see them always asking for stuff and acting like they don't have money, they don't have no gas, and they don't have no food and stuff like that, I call them in my office. And I tell them, you stop getting those $40 nails done and start doing your own hair. Because every day you come in, you got nails. Every week your nails look good. Every day your hair look good. So you're spending money. So you might want to save some of that money so you can eat. And stop begging people for, use your money wisely. So I don't let nobody pay nobody for no food. Seriously. And that's how you check people out. I tell people all the time, even beggars on the street, I love giving to people. I look at their shoes. People think I'm crazy. Why you look at their shoes? I said, because if they got on brand new Nikes and look like they, them jeans hitting just right and everything, because if you're homeless, you good and dirty. I don't care what nobody say. Something about you dirty. I don't care. Because you got people that do it for a living. It was a lady in Atlanta who was on the corner every day and went home to a $300,000 home. It might have cost more than that. It was a mansion that took up the block, they said, almost.
If you put on that uniform, I'll give you the money. You work hard for that money. You stand on the corner.
But you got people that do it for a living. But anyway, I don't know why I said that. But I just want you guys to do that. We're a team. Does that make sense? We're a family. If you want to come to me, nobody has to know. Look, Miss Womack, whatever. I get it all the time. It don't matter. And guess what? I get it back tenfold. I was just telling the young lady in there. I asked her to help somebody, and she said, I ain't getting paid. She go, I ain't getting paid. I'm not the instructor. I said, let me tell you something. I said, that's what's wrong with society, and that's what's wrong with people today. I said, people always think they're supposed to get paid in money. You know, think about what other stuff you need other than money. You may need good health. You know, so you don't know why you giving and doing stuff, and you don't know how you're gonna reap it back. So stop always thinking it's gonna be in money. You know, and she looked at me like, "You right?" You know, I'm like, but that's the truth. You know, so I just want you guys to know that, you're a team. For us in my class, I really want you guys to keep it up to the day you leave. Because, if you guys be together, always be that team. Always be the one to look out for each other. Okay? Just always do that. You never know. And if you get close enough, sometimes a person will have to ask you. You'll reach in your pocket, because you already know, and say, look, I don't know, go get you some lunch today, And nobody, and you don't do it for show. You do it for, on the side. That's good. I'm just trying to teach y'all how to be successful. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
How to be good, critical thinking application. Consider your history as a student. What do you think helped you to succeed? What do you think needs improvement? Create a plan for improvement that includes 2 or 3 ways you can become a more successful student. In other words, what do you need to work on? Right? And a lot of times you talk to students, you talk to people, they already know what they need to work on before you tell them. You know you late every day. you know what I'm trying to say. I ain't got to tell you that. You know you late every day. You know you lazy, don't want to get up on time, and you keep hitting that alarm clock every time it go off. And I'm gonna get up, and stuff. So you know that. You know when you go home, you open your book and read it.
That must be you.
I'm serious. I mean, when if someone might tell you to go home and do something, when you don't do it. I ain't gotta tell you that. You know what it's gonna take to make you a successful student. You know what it's gonna take. So I don't have to tell you that. I'm talking to grown-ups. I'm not talking to children. I'm not talking to babies. I'm talking to grown-ups. So you guys know what it takes to make you successful. I'm just here to help you if you're struggling with it. That's it. So you guys think of those things. Think about what you need to do better. Do you need to cut off that TV? And grab your book? Jerry Springer. I don't know if y'all get look at Jerry Springer and all that stuff. I'm a CSI fan, Criminal Minds fan. I go buy the DVDs. Because I got.
Stop! I did that with Scandal
I
yesterday.
got the whole series of everything. Criminal Minds, you name it. CSI, NCSI. Lost. I love it. Every time I buy them, okay, because I'm possessed. They got me. But still, so I have to sometimes too. When I'm going through some stuff, I gotta put it aside too and say, let me see what I'm gonna go over, refresh my mind again, with the students so I can flow too. So I gotta do the same thing. I have to do something. Sometimes I have to make myself get this burst of energy. I went home last night. I felt like my kitchen looked a mess. I looked like, things or whatever. I'm trying to, grade papers and do things. So I had to get this burst of energy mentally to go in and make sure my kitchen was mopped and my living room was done and all that stuff. Pull out my books and stuff. That was a challenge. I don't care what nobody say. That was a challenge. And to look at the clock and keep saying, I'm going to be in the bed at 10 o'clock so I can get 6 hours of sleep. Anybody ever do that?
Last night.
So you keep trying to say, okay, I'm keep looking. Before you know it, went over 15 minutes and 30 minutes, and now and then you put the alarm on, alarm say you got 4 hours of sleep, like 30 minutes of sleep, So, these are things that you have to do to make sure that you create, something that makes sure, and then you create the plan why, because you want to see your weaknesses and you want to see what you need to do better. And that's simply it. Okay? So you want to make sure you do some critical thinking. Some of us don't want to do critical thinking. You like where you are, you're going to be that way, you don't want to change, I'm okay, I got this. Let me tell you the most famous thing the students say, the most that I just listen to them. I know how to act when I get out there in the doctor's office. I get that all the time when I'm talking and I'm trying to teach them something, whatever. You got something with this mind. I might be acting like this now, but I know how to act when I get out there in the doctor's office. I said, the devil's a lie. Because you would not know, because that's who you are. You need some help, you need some training, you need some adjusting. What you would say now? Yes. And I know that when I started school, I was hell on wheels. I'm just going to tell you. Because I had an attitude. I did. I had an attitude. Tell you, I didn't think twice about what I had to say. I was a quiet person. I would gather all my thoughts before I said them. Especially if you're doing something you're not supposed to do and you get on my nerves. I wouldn't say nothing. I would let you get over on me a couple of times. But I have no middle zone. I have no middle zone. So when I'm quiet, that's a good thing. Because I'm in my zero. I'm good, I'm mellow. Do you. But my 10, and I'm the type of person that before I go to my 10, I have all my ducks in a row. And when I come at you with facts. I don't come at you with no mess. And that's how I've always been. So, but I had to learn that I can't tell everybody off. I gotta watch, I can't do that. I can't say what I want to say. Every time something, I can't, anybody ever had to do this, like,
When's your birthday?
September 2nd,
Everybody.
There you go.
Okay.
That's what I said.
She said,
When you said I come
yeah.
back, make sure all my ducks in a row, and I come at you with facts.
Yeah. So my thing is that, you have to, and I said that to say this, is that sometimes you got to realize that, that, and I have to learn how to do that. Even teaching, I had to learn how to do that. Because my supervisor, my dean used to come in my orientation, because I used to have to orientate my students, and I had this young lady, it was so funny. She just talked. I couldn't do my orientation. She was a high on something. She just talked, And doing the orientation, she had already went through one orientation, so you could tell that she had gotten on a lot of students' nerves already. And she was in mine now, and she was, and she was like, I just don't know why. And I said, you know what? Because you talk too doggone much. And before you know, I just had, and my supervisor went, and she said, girl, I could have fell on the floor. She said, girl, she said, girl, because I'm trying to do my presentation, I'm like, okay, you talk too doggone much. I said, try to say whatever. She said, So my thing is that, and I try to be truthful to people. So sometimes we got to learn how to curve that a little bit. We need, like you said, learn behavior. Sometimes, my grandparents, sometimes people will tell you, my kids used to always, my kid's father used to always tell them, somebody do something, just knock the whatever out of them. Some other girl used to practice that. Mandy used to practice that, when my kids were mixed, so she was a little white, excuse me, I'm not professional, like bald-headed baby, and stuff, and she thought even when she got on the bus, somebody did something to her, whatever was in the place, whatever was in the way, she bust their head, she didn't care, I'm talking about 4 or 5 years old, busting people's eyes. I'm like, but guess what? That's a learned behavior, isn't it? Because she did just what her daddy told her to do. She would get on the bus, doing, at people like that. Because, she'd come into the house, people talking about her, talking about me. She can't even reach the kitchen looking for a knife. I'm going to cut them. I'm going to tut them. She couldn't even say cut. I'm going to tut them. I'm like, you can't do that. And even, it's a learned behavior, because when she was 30 years old, she was working for Disney, and I used to tell her that, learned behaviors would get you in trouble. I said, you got to loose that James, that's the last name, that James, something about them, she was working at Disney World, and this young lady stole something, right? So Mandy went to tell her about it, and she was a big heavyset girl, and Mandy went to tell her about it. Well, the young lady had a switchblade.
Oh.
And she came up, and when she came up, she hit Mandy across the eye.
I'd have been a central
The girl went, the man that said Mandy went. B, did you just cut me? and just, she lost it. Told the girl up. So when the police came, she was on top of the girl. So they was handcuffing Mandy. So the man had to tell her, no, she's not the one that went up under her. She's the one that was stealing, you know. But I told her sometimes on the serious side, I said, man, you put yourself in danger. That was somebody else's product. That girl could have cut a main artery. You step back, you know, and her learned behavior is always defend herself. You know what I'm trying to say? And by any means necessary, defend herself. And that's what she does, you know. And so when she's in a doctor, she's been in a doctor's office now as an MA for 12 years. And she's learned how to really, really, work and adjust. And I'm so proud of her. She make them laugh now, you know. She does crazy stuff, you know. So I mean, anything to make the office, laugh and fun. And when she had to leave one off, they didn't want her to go. The doctors, it was top doctors, and working for Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. I don't know if you ever Piedmont and Emory. They loved Mandy, because she would make their day. One lady would come in trying to sell Avon, and because Mandy was light skinned, she thought Mandy wanted red and pink. Mandy said, I don't wear that. So the lady would bring it to her again. So she said, okay, give it to me. She said, let me see how it looks. So Mandy goes in the bathroom. She doesn't put the lipstick on her lip. She puts it around her lip. And that's the kind of kid, that's what she does. She puts it around her lip, right? And then she takes the eyeshadow and she takes it and she puts it all up here on top and like that. And then she puts the rouge, whatever the woman gave her, all on that in the makeup, right? So she comes out like ain't nothing happening. And she calls the patient to the back, Miss Jones. And, so by then, the doctor looking at her, the lady that gave her the makeup looking at her, But she calm and she ain't like nothing happened. She said, what y'all looking at? What's wrong with y'all? She said, can I get your blood pressure? The lady just looking at her, And her thing was, I bet she won't sell me no more. I kept telling her, see. That was her way of being mean, so to the lady. So I said, well, you did it in a way other than, with the lady. So it's, but I'm so proud of her because she's the type of person that will have to tell you what's ever on your mind. I'm like that, but I know how to be tactful. Does that make sense? She didn't know how to be tactful. So I was very concerned about her when she went into the doctor's office, and I had to talk to her about that because if somebody did something to her, she was ready to tell them off or whatever the case may be. Now she even had to be in the same class with me. That was very scary. She had one class with me, and I was nervous the whole time. I'm just trying to tell you, I was a mom, but I was nervous the whole time because I knew if one student said something out the way or or disrespected me, it was on, and so I had to pray the whole time, I'm like, so, and she ended up making a C in my class. So that made the student wake up like, dang, that's her daughter. She, but that's what she did. That's what she came out with, because she missed some days. She, hey, but I said all that, to change her attitude. So sometimes wherever we are, we learn how to do what? Defend ourselves, but you got to learn how to be very tactful, do some critical thinking before you open your mouth. I don't care how bad they are. I had to learn how to do it. It took me some time. Because even when I was working at the doctor's office and Dr. Wolfson would come and drink out my soda, or pinch on my donut after doing a pap smear and wash his nasty hands, or reach in my bag and get my chips, you know what I'm saying? So, I was
I used to put laxatives in a Sprite bottle with a little liquid and stick it in the office refrigerator to see who was drinking my stuff.
After doing a pap smear on a woman, and don't even wash his hands, just come straight, get some, your chips sitting up there, the bag. But one day I went off. I said, I'm so sick of you bringing your nasty self up in here, after I said, you didn't start washing your doggone hands and stuff, and then ask people for their stuff. I said, that's nasty. And nobody else would tell him. But I got tired. I said, look, I ain't care if you fired me or whatever. Fire me. You're nasty.
I didn't even
sometimes you have to because they don't know that
Right.
they're doing anything wrong.
They don't do the critical thinking.
Yeah.
So that's why you said you have to be tactful and let
Yeah.
them know. You ain't
It's a
gotta be
learned
nasty.
behavior.
It's a nice way to be mean. When you learn how to mess it up, you
People used to always say that I could tell people stuff and leave them bleeding, and cut them, and they don't even know
Yeah,
it,
that's
you know.
what they say.
But you know, but it's the way that you do things, right? So my thing is being very tactful and doing a little bit critical thinking and making sure that you're okay. How many of you guys need to work on that for real?
My mom.
Huh?
It's just my mom. You know, some family members get under your skin. That's only my mom.
So your mom gets up under your skin.
Yeah. But other people say okay.
Mom's
They
not
have to
do
do
that.
that work.
She say her mom.
Mom's not
Okay.
do that.
Okay. So my thing is that. So how you gonna work on your mom?
I don't know. I see her every day.
They probably just a lot.
Okay. So I'm do some critical thinking. Let's do some
I
critical
don't know. Maybe you
thinking.
can help me out the class.
Okay. Seriously, not to get personal, but you gotta do some critical thinking.
I don't know. But today, I would have been late. She wanted to see if we all live together. And it's
You
only,
guys listen up.
it's only
You guys-
one full bathroom.
Uh-huh.
All right, I refuse to go downstairs and wash in the half bathroom. I prefer to wash in the whole bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Where she going? You retired, right?
Uh-huh.
I want to get in the bathroom first because I have to get. I say I have to. This is like when I was working down at the state office downtown.
That's where you work?
I used to.
Uh-huh.
We fuss over the darn bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Where are you going? Now she gonna say it was paid. I'm older now. She says payback now. With 14, I used to make a late for words.
Yo, she can hold the hell out of a grudge.
So she's going to pay me back. I said, "Ma, you can't do that. I got a car now. I got responsibilities. I'm starting new school." And she said, this morning we fighting on the bathroom. My husband had to leave. He gets up way earlier than me. I said, "Ma, don't do this to me. Not today." She gonna say, "Well, how long is the class now?" I said, "Where are you going but downstairs?"
So some kind of way y'all gotta really say, who said that? Some kind of way you gotta beat mom to it.
Alright.
Sometimes, some kind of way you just gotta do some, little, don't take much, but.
But she going through knee surgery, so May 15th, so that'll be slack up. She can't do nothing. Her leg be high up, so May 15th I'll be okay. So waiting for the day to come. So she can't move, so I fix it so food.
I like your solution. She
And
came
I
up
was
with
like,
a
my
solution,
friend,
you
he
know.
tried to hand me this today. I'm like, he said, I need the car tomorrow. I said, how am I gonna get to school? I said, all right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get up early.
So my
I'm
father
gonna jump on
told
the
me-
bus and
my
I'm gonna
father
get there.
told me
And
wash-
I got
wash
here by
off in
bus.
94.
It don't care me how I got here by bus. I ain't know the first thing about how I get here. I got here and I was here by 7:30. By 7:15 I was over at the McDonald's. I caught the bus, got on one, asked the bus driver how I get to the next. And the bus driver I get to the next before I got here. And I was here 7:15.
And now that's
That's how they handed me today.
But my father
Wow.
said-
Because I thought he thought I was
my father said
really
wash
pretending
up
on
in
that car.
94.
Yeah.
And I need to know how to catch the bus anyways, in case your car go down. You have a backup plan on how to get in.
But I like the way she did. I like what she did. How many of you guys really like what she did?
I do.
Yesterday, as soon as I left school, I lied to you or not, I got pulled over right there in the Popeyes. I was going to Popeyes. They pulled me over and said my tags was fake because they expired yesterday. And the police, I got my car from, I was supposed to have my hard tags yesterday. I called the police, guess what? They don't got my hard tags.
They don't have it.
Nope. And I was my only way to school. So I asked my mother had to get her.
So what area do you live in?
I live in Columbia.
Oh,
I ain't
shit.
got no, but I'm sorry, I didn't get up. I ain't get nothing till 5 o'clock. I
Okay.
had to get up 5
Columbia is a
o'clock.
good little place. It's a good bit. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just keep pressing your way. Do your mom bring you?
I had to, my mom brought me, but the lady, she was like, I asked her to call me back. Because, they can give you an extension of the temp tag.
Yeah.
I asked her to call the NBA and see how long the tag was going to be. This lady did not call me back. They closed at 5 o'clock. I took a nap.
So what you need to do? Okay, let's do some
I
critical.
called her. No,
Let's
I
do
called her.
some critical thinking. Who can help her out?
I
What
can
should
tell
she
you.
do?
No, I called her. and
Now
I was like,
listen. That's what I'm saying. What you think she need to do?
go face to face.
That's right.
Go to the
Stop
meeting.
calling.
That's
You
right.
go down there and tell them that, you know, you need to get to school, you do it, you know, you need to get around, you got pulled over and you
That's
don't,
the crazy thing. I did that Friday because my tag was supposed to be in
but
last
did you,
week.
but did you go to the place?
Yeah, I went to
No,
the place.
I'm talking about go to the place so they can give you an extension.
Oh, they want $20 for me.
Guess what, pay that $20 if you got
For
it.
30 days, and then she told me
Pay
my
it.
tag was gonna be in this week.
Okay, pay it.
Okay.
It's better to pay that than to have the police pull you over and get a ticket and then you pay a $300 ticket.
They will impound the shit.
You know, or impound, they didn't take your car, did they?
No, my tag was no.
Okay,
They took my card.
so,
Yeah.
They took mine.
Money for them tags for them not to be on time.
Yeah.
My tag was like $1,000.
They should reimburse you for it.
well, my tags is $1,400
Yeah, my
to
tag
change
was
from Georgia to Maryland.
Yo, my tag was $1,000.
I didn't have tags for like 3 months.
And I've been
So that
on them.
temporary
I've
To
been
change, no, I still have Georgia. My tags is still good in Georgia, you know, but you have to get your tags changed from one state if you're gonna be
Some
here.
people don't.
So, and I'm thinking about not.
Yeah, when we first got up here from Florida, we didn't, and they gave
yeah.
us a hard time because our driver's license and our cars weren't the same.
Yeah.
So every time we got pulled over, they tried to tell us it was wrong. I would have to carry my military orders in my pocket. Like, look, I'm not changing it. I'm not paying all this money to change it for no reason if I'm going back.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's $1,400.
A girlfriend that's still living in Pennsylvania for 5 years now. She's still going around Berlin tags.
Okay, but
For
does
5
she,
years.
but what license does she have?
Berlin.
Okay, so she don't have to change it.
I got a Florida driver's license with a Maryland address with Maryland plates.
Yeah,
But
so
she
you don't have
did
to
that.
change it.
It don't
You know?
matter as long as
And
the
that's
address
what
the
a lot
same.
of people do. A lot of people just keep their, you know, and by me having to change my last name, and because my husband is military, I had to get all my stuff changed over. So that's what's making me out, you know. But still, you know, so I had to do that. So, but other than that, you know. But anyway, critical thinking, you know, with that. So you need to go down there or pay your $20 before you be there for this
You know
stuff
what
out.
came into my mind when they told me to pay my tag yesterday was the shame that it's gonna always try to stop you.
Yes, and you're right.
Always trying to
It's
stop
always trying to stop you, you know, but take care of your business, you know, and make sure it's done, you know, and so that way, you know, say, look, it's not gonna stop me because I'm gonna take care of this, you know. But, and guess what? You still got favor because they could have took you to jail.
That's right.
Still have it.
I told your car. Not so
You
much.
got till 12 o'clock. When your text, the daily text is Friday.
You got till 12
You got
o'clock?
till 12
Around
a.m.
midnight.
Midnight,
I don't
okay.
know why, because NBA closed at 4.
Okay, so, huh?
Because that
But you
begins a new
guys,
day.
you guys, some people, I don't know the Maryland law. Anyway, okay, let's keep it moving. So everybody's starting to understand now where we get ready to go, and we just did a whole lot of critical thinking, believe it or not, you know, and that's what it's all about. And sometimes we gotta do that, and it's good to have a group and a team when you are talking about critical thinking, because, you know, they help you out and sometimes make you see things that you didn't see it that way, you know, and make you say, oh, I didn't think about that, you know, oh, okay, you know, so, and because it's good to work that way as a team, doing critical thinking. That's why you guys are working in a group too with some things. Learning styles. You have developed a method for perceiving and processing information. Everybody's different. Some people have to have things in their hands. If I tell you, you know, whatever, you know, if I tell you what a donut look like, I may tell you all day what a donut look like, what it feels like, what it tastes like. You know, and this is the only thing I want you to know about a donut. Some of you guys probably don't get it until you do what? Put it in your hands, right? You know, look at it and then eat it, taste it, because that's how you perceive how what a donut what is, basically. Same thing with anything else. Same thing. How many guys are readers? Love to read. Okay? And a lot of times readers always is going to try to continue to read, and they're going to continue to read until they figure it out. Continue to read. And they love to read because they want they like the knowledge, and a lot of light bulbs goes off, you know, when they're reading.
Or visual.
Yes.
You get to visualize your own characters of what your own perception of a person may look like, or a character in the book, or something
Yes.
like that.
Exactly. And see, and I'm a visual.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a visual. You know, that's why a lot of times when people give me something, I don't jump on it right away because, you know, I'm visual. If I'm, and y'all know by now I'm minister too, y'all probably figured that out by now, you know. So even if I'm doing that, you know, I'm visual, you know, where I'm at that time, you know. So I like to bring whatever I'm talking about to life. Does that make sense? You know, I want you to already see yourself there. You know, and even as a medical assistant, I want you to already see yourself sitting at that desk. You know, already see yourself calling those patients back. You know, so that's how you know, you visualize and you vision yourself already there. And if you get that concept in your mind, then you think about, okay, what is going to take to get me there? If I'm doing telephone calls, do I know how to answer a telephone? If not, I need to what? Learn. Do I know how to call patients back? I'm here now. I see what I need to do. You know, do I know what the charts look like? Do I know what's in the chart? Because if I don't, I need to what? Learn. Because when I call these patients back, I'm already here. I'm doing it. I visualize myself there. How many guys have already seen yourself working in a doctor's office? Okay? And that's good because you perceive it and now you get ready to process information to make you what? Successful in doing so. You know, so my thing, I tell people, already see yourself there. I do that with a lot of stuff, not just work. I do that with a lot of stuff. I don't care what it is. I wanted a new car. I always saw myself driving. I said, I don't know how I'm going to get it, when I'm going to get it, but I'm going to be driving that car one day. It's crazy. You know? You ever been, you know? And I said, okay. And that's how you know, you do it. Before you know it, I'm like, okay, yeah. You know, and I perceive it, you know, for what it is. This method, highlight this because you're going to see this on your test. It's in your book. If you've been following me, you're going to, remember, I want you to follow me in your book as we go. Learning style here, you see that? Where it says perceiving and processing information. Over the time, you have developed a method of perceiving, and this pattern of behavior is called what? Learning style. I had you guys highlight it anyway as one of your words. Okay? Determine your individual learning style and use it to help you study in the way that you learn most easily is the first step towards becoming a successful student. You guys are going to get more into that when you start doing your hands-on. When you start processing, you already know a lot of things. You know, some of you guys, when you can start doing injections and stuff like that, you're going to learn what your learning style is. You're going to see how everybody may do it different. I'm an instructor. I teach it all. From the beginning, I teach the whole 9 yards. So when I go into a classroom, you know, my method may be different from an instructor. You know, so what I tell the students, for instance, if I'm getting ready to give a student an injection, I'm just going to use this for an example, and I ask the student, I say, this is how you're going to do it. Put your hands to the side. I need your hands in your lap. Sit up. So I want you to relax. I want that muscle to relax. You know, I want you to take your ring finger and I want you to put it on that bone, and I want you to hold your finger down, and wherever your thumb is, that's where the injection is going to go. You know, and I want you to turn around and squeeze. Now let the person go. Your needle's already ready to go. You don't have to let them go because you don't want to fondle your patient too much. That's my meanest to, that's the magic to my, you know. So I'm ready to go. So I just go, you know, I make sure it's a 90-degree angle because that's what I taught you guys is 90-degree angle because it's a muscle intramuscular. So I go enter, anchor, aspirate, inject, and out. That's my method. Now you may get another instructor who tells you to do it like this here. Like that.
Is that the wrong way?
You know, no. I never tell nobody nothing's wrong. That's how the instructor what? Does it. Now,
You hold the skin and then I see people do that.
yes. You know, so, but you see the method. So what I tell students all the time, I live in Frederick, I live in Brunswick. I say Frederick because everybody knows Frederick. I don't know if anybody knows Brunswick, but Brunswick is like 15 miles out going towards Leesville or something like that, you know. So
I'm sorry to disturb you. Anybody miss signing in this morning?
everybody signed in?
Okay. Is there a Rebecca here, Rebecca Frederick?
I signed in, you watched me do it.
Okay, maybe you signed in the wrong location.
I don't know, who knows?
I apologize.
Cause that's, oh, oops, I signed in. Okay. My bad, it was just one line above.
Oh, okay.
So it's, whoever,
Yeah.
that one. My pen's not there. Get out of my hands. Who knows? Anyway.
that was the same pen that was writing outside.
That's why I said it's just Thursday. Okay, I knew that my pen was just.
I mean, if you can actually sign, because obviously we're gonna have to cross out for that gentleman this evening. I should have noticed that, but I don't know everybody's name yet.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sorry.
Next time I come in, they'll have to have a highlighter there, not a highlight.
Right.
Okay. So again, we all have different learning styles. We're gonna go over those, some of those I think we're gonna touch on. This is basically, okay. This is just a basic picture. If you look at your picture in your book, you can tell what that picture displays, displays, I would say. And you can tell, basically, that's figure 1, 1, right? So you just read and you say, consider your history as a student. Here, what they think you can succeed. Same thing we just talked about. So take that figure and read the little green part, and you can tell what the picture's all about. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. We've already discussed that. So, this is a medical system who actually knows what you're doing, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, very professional. Learning style inventory. To learn new material, 2 things must happen. First, you must proceed. So when you guys are in class, that means that I need to have, I don't care how boring it is, I still need to have your what? Undivided attention. You know, some way, somehow. Okay? Because you're going to perceive it. How many of you guys, I used to be the type of person, or I'm the type of student that I have to listen to you and I can take the test. Does that make sense? I don't study. If I don't get it while you're talking,
I ain't gonna get
They
it.
ain't gonna get it.
you know, I'll look over some notes, you know, or whatever. So I try to perceive, so therefore I ask questions. Does that make sense? I say, okay, so what do you mean by that? You get what I'm saying? So what are you talking, you know, and that's what you guys have to do to me. Okay? Because you want to proceed, right? And you do that with every instructor that you go to. You understand? I don't care how dumb the question may seem, because I don't believe that. Well, I used to say that. Might be the difference. I've heard say there's no dumb question. You know, I'm
I think it is to a certain extent.
Huh?
I think it is to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, I've had some.
Like, asking the questions that states the obvious.
I've had some crazy questions. We all grown in here, and when you guys go to the reproductive system, I used to have to teach a reproductive system. And for whatever reason, it opened up some crazy stuff, you know, for students. For whatever reason, it might go way north, south, west, and don't be in the classroom, okay? And I was teaching, this young lady asked me a question. And I said, you know, I used to say there was no such thing as a dumb question, stupid question, until she asked that question. And we all grown in here, right? So I hope I don't think I'm offending anybody, but this is what she asked. So get ready. I'm just trying to tell you guys, get ready, brace yourself. You know,
This is hilarious.
for when you take the reproductive class, okay? Because you're gonna have some ignorant person, I say ignorant persons, people in your classrooms, okay? That, you know, and she asks, can you get pregnant by swallowing?
Oh! Your mother should have swallowed you asking them kind of questions.
Did you ask her how much she
Oh no!
But you gotta,
No.
sometimes you gotta tackle dumb questions with dumb questions.
You gotta meet them at the crossroads, right?
Yeah.
But can y'all?
I mean, I can see her asking that like in middle school when she's like taking sex education for the
Yeah.
first time. But it's like we ain't go through the whole puberty thing. But it's like you being like 25 asking that.
Some
like,
people don't
and
know
you
that.
done had sex.
If you don't know, you don't need to be doing it.
Thank you.
So I was trying to now look, if last time I heard, when you eat something, it goes through your intestines and it goes through your bowels. It has nothing to do with your ovaries, and it comes out. You know, you're right. I ain't never heard nothing else, you know, other than that. Now, if it can take a detour, let me know. You know, I never heard that.
The reproductive system works.
You know,
She don't even know how her digestive system works.
No, she don't know parts of her body.
Huh?
She don't know her
She don't
anatomy
know the
or
parts of her
Right.
female body because that.
No.
What's her name? Because if she ever MA in my doctor's office, it's gonna be a problem.
But I can't tell your name. But look, that was crazy. I mean, I don't care what nobody say.
What did you say, Ms. Womack?
Huh?
What did you
I
say?
told her that was a stupid question.
That's a deeper issue.
I told myself
It's a deeper issue because first of all, if she doesn't know, she shouldn't be doing it. She shouldn't do it. That's why a lot of women who are miseducated wind up with diseases
Yes.
and things that they, because they don't know. First of all, you should be practicing safe methods.
That's what I was sitting here thinking. I was thinking maybe my education was different than yours.
Only thing it showed me, only thing it told the whole class, we know what you're doing. That's the only thing. She didn't care.
And she didn't care.
That's the only thing no, she didn't. She
Yeah,
didn't.
no
But
shame.
she said a couple other stuff
Oh,
too. So yeah, she it's like she didn't, she didn't care to let people know where she was.
Fine.
But it's crazy, isn't it? So people ask some crazy questions. And on that note too, you guys, as a medical assistant, and somebody said it too, you said it, don't be surprised that when you go in a doctor's office, people don't know.
Yeah.
I used to told one young lady, I says, if I tell you to go urine in the cup, everybody know what that is, right? Everybody know, right? And this young lady is holding this cup, and she's looking at me, and I says, can you urine in the cup? And she's actually standing there. She says, what you want me to do? I said, I want you to urine in the cup. She said, I said, go pee in the cup. I just said, can you go pee in the cup? She knew that. Some people don't know what menstrual means. Some people don't know. They don't know what menstrual. Sometimes you'll be amazed at some of the education of some of your patients, especially in their young teens and things like that. You'll be amazed. One young lady came in and she thought she was pregnant, and she had to go in the classroom and in the room, and the doctor told me, go ahead and tell her the results, like that. And usually they don't tell you that unless it's negative. So you can't tell results other than normal and negative if the doctor tells you. Okay, so I went in and she was like you see, she was walking back and forth, and she was, oh my God, and I walked in, she was still doing that. I said, you could go ahead and get your rest. I said, your test came back negative. She says, oh Lord, she said, what that mean?
That's it.
Oh my God.
That's it.
She doesn't know the baby.
Maybe she was just so shocked.
And if it's your first time hearing things, you can't always.
Yeah, maybe she was just so pumped up about it.
Sometimes you be so nervous, you just blank out.
But sometimes you can't always expect people to
so.
go
Yes, ma'am.
I don't get, to me personally, on that scenario, okay. But the other scenario was the little girl didn't know those type of things. When I was young, my parents did not allow me to take any sex ed class at all. So when you had to sign a permission, so we took school, my aunts would always, and my mom, they would always deny it. So we did not take it at all. And I did not, my aunts, it's a part of our religion, she did not inform us of menstrual periods or anything like that. My older sister had to tell me. They did not tell me that. So it's a learned behavior. So if you don't know, you honestly don't. Because I did not know. My first time I ever had sex was when I was 18. I couldn't do any of those things. I did not hang out, but that was the way I grew up. So I did not know anything about the vagina at 17 years old. I did not know that my boobs could grow because I had little raisins. I was a stick. I didn't know any of that until my sister informed me, until she told me. I didn't get my period until I was 17 years old.
You didn't have a health class?
No, we couldn't.
She wasn't allowed to take sex education.
In the state of Virginia, where I'm from, you had to get a
Even here.
You got, I can't hear everybody at one time. So you were saying it's Virginia. But what you were saying, somebody else was saying something.
Oh yeah, it's like that now.
Yeah, you gotta sign a permission slip. You gotta sign a permission
Now
slip.
it's co-ed. In Baltimore County, it's co-ed, the boys and the girls.
It was always co-ed for me because I
But
went to Baltimore City
you know,
and County.
that's amazing because, like I said, when you go and when you guys are dealing with these patients, especially the young teens, especially if you end up working for like a clinic, you know, where a lot of the young, mothers come in, and you're going to be amazed. A lot of these young mothers are going to be HIV positive. You know, they're going to have a lot of things going on with them. You know, so and they're not going to know. Like you said, they're not going to know their body. Let me tell you what's amazing. When I'm teaching the reproductive system, and I have to make it fun, because sometimes students, can I just be real with you guys? Sometimes students, especially women, can I say that? And it's no offense to the guys, but sometimes women, when we start talking about the reproductive system and when you start talking about your body, automatic sex comes up. Sex is the thing. It's whatever. And I tell them that the reproductive system is not about sex. Your body is an art. Your body is, what I'm trying to say, and that's how you need to look at your body, as being an art. And I just get raw with them. And I say, some of you guys, are just, ignorant in the fact that just because you think that you're laying up with a guy that you're having sex, no, you're just doing something. You're just doing something. Because 9 out of 10, you don't even have a, can I be honest with you guys? You don't even enjoy it. You don't even know what it really is. You never experienced it. You're just doing something. So you're not making love and you're just doing something. Because you don't understand what your body's supposed to produce, what your body needs. Because as you get older, what people don't realize, your hormones grow and things like that, and sex become a necessity. People don't look at that. And as you talk about that, and that's why and people don't realize that your sex and your hormones has a lot to do with your behavior. That's why you see a lot of people going crazy, women going crazy, people going crazy, when they go through menopause. Because they're imbalanced, not realizing that they need to understand that other part of their life, what their body needs, is a true thing. It's a necessity. We have, the world have knocked it out of loop. And that's why we have all these diseases. Because your body is not just to be banged up, flipped up, and wore out.
Okay.
It's not, you understand what I'm saying? And I tell people all the time, if not to say, you got to know what love is. Love is not sex. You love me because I let you come over 2 or 3 times a night or 2 or 3 times a week and you just, flip me and dip me. I don't even enjoy it. And you go about your business. You come next week, you do the same thing. That's not love.
No.
That's not love. But so many people think that's love, and so many people think that's what that's not it. That's just being ignorant, and you wearing your body out, and you ain't enjoying it, and you never get to enjoy it. You don't never even know what the pleasure of it is all about, because you're so busy trying to please somebody else and keep on, and you ain't even enjoyed yourself. You haven't even enjoyed the epitome, of what your body's about. You haven't even reached the peak of knowing what it's really like to have love and to make love, and I'm trying to say, and sex is whether or not you're a male or female. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's sex.
Yeah.
What's your sex?
Female.
Female or male? We've taken it to be something else, provocative or whatever. It's supposed to be called love making, intimacy or intercourse. Does that make sense? We've taken it and just made it something, and that's why the world now is ate up with AIDS and everything else, because nobody deemed it to be important. Young girls and women, every day is getting their body used up or men getting their body used up by somebody that say they love them and that's all they want from them. Nothing else. There's no fun. There's no, you don't spend time together. You don't grow. You don't try to, figure out what we're gonna do, where we're gonna live, what our next, thing is, what our progress is, what we're gonna do in life. Right. You know what I'm trying to say? So my thing is that, everybody, I think we just got it all mixed up. And so when we think about reproductive, we think about the order of our body. And when I'm teaching it, you'll be amazed that men don't even know their parts of their body.
Oh, no, definitely.
They call a penis the D word. They don't even want to say, you know what I'm saying?
They don't even know the scrotum.
The testicles and the scrotum, they call them the D word.
Y'all want to hear something funny?
You know what I'm trying to say? If you ask them what it is, they don't even know. That's my balls. I don't know what they is. You know what I'm saying? They don't say scrotum, testicles, or nothing. They don't know. And the women the same way. Yes.
After we had my second daughter, my husband went to go see about getting his snipped. So the doctor's in there explaining the procedure, and I was understanding. My grandmother worked in a hospital, so I knew what he was talking about. And so he let the doctor finish the entire conversation and raised his hand. We'd only 2 people in the room. So I'm looking at him like, he was like, "Can you say it in like English? Cause I don't get it." Cause he was like, the doctor was like, "Yeah, we have to, cut your vas deferens." He was like, "I don't even have one of those." I was like, "Oh my God. Like, how are you grown, have kids, and not know your body parts?"
So it is real. People do not study, do not know, do not inform this.
And as medical assistants, you guys, you have to learn the parts of your body. Because some of you guys are going to be doing pap smears and women come in with boils and things like that. I'm just being honest. So this is what y'all going to face. So you can't write on the paper when the doctor does the specimen. You can't put left lip and right lip. Come on now, it's got a name. Okay? What lip you talking about? These or what? What? You know what I'm saying? So it's the labia minora. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta learn. You gotta know your medical terms. Because if you're sitting there to the lab, that lab tech gonna laugh at you and probably call you back and say, "What lips are you talking about?" So if you don't know your medical terms, as seriously on a serious note. And sometimes it's, when I'm talking to students and doing it, sometimes I feel like it's a sad day, a sad thing, that people don't realize, especially women, don't realize how precious, their bodies are, and it's not made for what they think it's made for. That's why a lot of women end up with tumors, fibroids and things like that, and all this stuff, because they, and end up with nothing, and then, they want it this side, that side. You ain't got enough to whatever, you wearing yourself out. Before you know it, you got issues. And young women these days, it's a lot of young women, 30, 35 years old, 40 years old, that's having issues because of what they call sex. So, and that's what you guys are going to learn in the reproductive system. I don't know why I'm getting on it. Anyway, so it's a lot of things that...
Bernice? Yeah? It's your appointment time. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. So, but, anyway, we just, we're still learning, and we're still, helping, each other out here. So, anyway, to learn your new material, 2 things must happen. First, you must perceive it, recognize it. The information, then once you make it real within your learning method, you must process the material, and just what you just said. And that's what she said. When you're reading something, you guys, in all the way to understand it, make it your own. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Read it over and over again until you make it your own. And another thing, you need a dictionary. Yes. Because you're going to read over some words that it could be a big, big word, but it has a little small meaning. And then it opens up the whole thing. So, oh, yes, ma'am.
I had that on my phone, and then I have the voice one, so it can tell me, because I swear I don't know how to pronounce words at all. So the way it looks to me, I'll pronounce it, and it's so wrong.
Yes.
It's so wrong. And I'm like, seriously? That does not say that?
But
sometimes
sometimes
when I play it back, and when you go to dictionary, it'll play it for you what the word is.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh.
And sometimes now, you got some words that they're pronounced a way because you have 2 ways to say. It's like you say tomato and I say tomato. Okay? So it is, sometimes they give you, like especially in terms. When you talk about terms, it does mess you up sometimes.
What you say? Dictionary.com?
It'll play the word for you. Like if you don't know how to pronounce it, It'll just play it for you out loud so that you can hear it, and then once you read the meaning and everything, it'll do that.
So it's called, you can pull that up on, it's an app?
Dictionary.com.
Okay.
Like, you know, when you're looking for, say, for instance, you look up Google, you didn't know how to say Google. It'll just say Google. It's something quick like that, and then that's it.
Information perception. You guys, look at this because you may see this again on your test. Perception is how you go about examining new material and making it real. That's perception. In other words, if I ask you right now, everybody's going to have a different perception of who? Of me. I've been with you for 2 days. So if I ask you to give a perception of me, right? So you've already examined just a little bit. You know a little bit about me, right? So you say it to the point that it's real to you, right? To who I am, to you. That's why people say perception. Exactly. And you can't change nobody's perception, right? Whatever they perceive, that's what they think is real, and you can't and then you can do it to change it.
Reality.
It's real to them, and that's what it is to them. Okay? Concrete perceivers learn information through direct experience by doing, acting, sensing, or feeling. They prefer to learn things that mean something to them personally or have a connection they can see is useful. Are you a concrete perceiver? Is that who you are? Are you the person again that is that the type of learner you are? Then you have abstract perceivers. Take information in through analysis, observation, and reflection. They like to think about the new material and analyze it before incorporating it into their learning. They prefer to learn the step-by-step method and use this method to solve problems and deal with conflict. Are you an abstract learner? What type of learner are you? Have you found yourself in either one of these yet? You found yourself in one. Okay. So, in other words, with this one here, when you read something, do you have to analyze it first? Are you that type of person? You have to analyze it? In other words, trying to figure out, what it is and what it's all about or whatever, and then you take the next step. Then your observation and reflection. And we're going to learn about what reflection is, basically. So, do you think about the new material? Some students don't even look at the new material. So they don't know what type of learner they are, to be honest. So some students sit up and they don't know because they haven't looked at the book and tried to even figure out what type of learner they are. So they go through life not knowing how they can learn because they really haven't taken the step to know, okay, how they can learn. Sometimes you have to break it down Barney style. Like I told you guys with those words preceding, get flashcards. Break it down Barney style. You know how flashcards is? Write the word on the front, put the meaning on the back. That way you can study, help each other, cram with that, like that. That's a good, I tell my students that all the time. It's a good way of learning. The next step is processing information, internalizing it, and making it your own. You have what you call active processors. Make sense of the new material by jumping in and doing things immediately. Who does that? Who likes to do that? Like driving a car. You never drove a car before. You saw mom and dad do it, right? You don't want to go anywhere else. You don't want to go into a simulator. You don't want to fake it. You just want to jump in and what? Do it. Anybody like that? It's like jumping and do it. Okay? Then you have reflective processors. However, think about the information before they internalize it, prefer to observe and consider. So these are the ones who have to sit back and say, does that make sense? Should I? And then it's almost like if I'm reading that book, Have you guys ever read something you understand, you're real good at it, and you say, I would have wrote that different. Or I'd have did that different. You know, because you sit and you internalize that thing, you viewed it, you looked at it, you're like, You know, so that means that you're good, really, that you have already visualized, you internalized it, you understood what they were saying, and then you could have took it a step further or made it a little bit different. Because you understood and you internalized everything. You said, man, if they'd have did this, boy, if they'd have did that, you know. So even on your job, you could be like that. You could be so good on your job until you can see ways that you can change a whole lot of things to make the flow even better. You ever been like that? You know, matter of fact, I even had to say his name. Anyway, my ex-husband, I don't say his name. But anyway, you know, I can remember he's from St. Louis, Missouri. He was just a guy working in the office, I think cleaning the office up or whatever. And he, y'all know, heard of, what you call it? What is it? MoDOT? You know what I'm talking about? What you call it? The people that work on the highways? What am I trying to say?
Oh,
SHA?
No. You know what I'm trying to say.
The inmates?
MoDOT or something like that. But anyway, these are the people who are responsible for the red lights.
MDOT.
Yeah, MDOT, yeah. So they're responsible for the red lights. They're responsible for everything that goes on for, you know, the highways, the lights, the something like that. But they call it something else in Missouri. But anyway, so he started out to look, you know, as just a worker, you know, doing much of nothing, to be honest, making that money. So he came up with this idea, and he used to listen to them all the time. So he asked, could he talk to the governor? You know, and they figured, who is he? You don't want to talk to the governor. But by him working in there, you know, they end up, you know, allowing him, you know, that privilege because they want to see what he was talking about, right? So he went and he proposed this idea that he had, you know, that the street lights and certain things they were doing and how the highways was made and, you know, and he had been there forever. And so he went and gave the idea to the governor. Who do you think they ended up actually hiring? He didn't have the degree. You know, he didn't get the top position because of that. But they end up what? Putting him up in a position to give, you know, to give information. Because he saw a new way of doing things. He analyzed, you know, he looked. And a lot of times we are like that. Look at the guy who said he just took the time. I don't know if you guys saw this on the news, maybe about a month ago. Here, who took the time, or in Virginia, took the time and rode around an apartment complex. You know what I'm talking about? And saw the air conditioning things, and he went home and started drawing. You know, I think it was like the unit or something, that how it looks or whatever, to make it better. So they were sticking, yeah, they were sticking outside of the windows, and he was saying how he could make it, you know, better. And he went home and designed this grill or something, I don't know what it was, to put on the windows and make it look a little bit more attractive and or make it better for the people that was living there. Well, guess what? They patented it. And he making some money. Now my power getting ready to go off. Anyway, okay. And we'll keep going. And I may have to end up printing too. Why did it go off? Okay, there it is. Okay. I just keep going until it goes off. Learning style. Using your learning profile to be successful. You guys have to keep up with time. Using your learning profile to be a successful student. Where do I go from here? Stage 1. Learners have a concrete, reflective style of learning. They want to know the purpose of the information and must draw a personal connection with the connect in order to learn it. And that's why I told you guys, you're here as a medical assistant. Already see yourself working, right? Connect with, you know, where you are going to what you're learning right now. You know, go ahead and connect it, visualize it, visualize where you're going and make that personal connection too. And that means too that, you know, personal means what? Just that, right? You know, not just as a student, but make that personal connection. You know, like, I felt like this morning you made a personal connection. You know, you're a student, but you had to make that personal connection because you wanted to get here to get the information. So you made a decision to catch a bus. You know, so those things, certain things like that to me, you know, we could take a little bit further and look at the big picture when it says personal connection. You know, where are you with this? Do you really want to do this? Is this something that you really personally want to do? You know, do you want to see yourself as an MA already working? Being able to work in the field that's real good, that's everlasting, ever keeping, you know, most likely if you come and do what you have to do, you'll never be without a job. You know, personally, what have you connected? You consider many different points of views, observe others, and plan before taking action. Their learning strengths include brainstorming and creative problem solving. They enjoy working in groups. And I'm going to see who enjoy working in groups.
I don't. They're only really together.
Huh? But that's why, and that's going to be, that's why you're going to learn to be a team player. Oh, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. I had another student just like you. She was like, I can't do it. And she was a manager. She said, I can't do it. She said, I can't do it. I can't work with you. I can't, you know. But, and I used to in group. I would tell you, y'all talking back there, y'all want to work in groups, y'all gonna work in groups, okay? Y'all gonna be all right. And y'all may not be together, so don't get mad, okay?
You switch groups every time, or we
No, you stay with that same group.
She's like group. Oh, that's so.
Learners have an abstract reflection style of learning. They're eager to learn just for the sheer pleasure of it. These are stage 2 learners. They prefer to learn as much factual material as possible about a topic and to arrange it in a logical and clear manner to process it. These students enjoy organizing lectures that discuss group work, but dislike group work. This is the stage 2 learner. That's just you, because you dislike group work. They need time to process new information before they can see a practical application. In other words, I need to understand it before I can put it into action. Okay? And sometimes, you know, that's your stage 2 learners. You know, but stage 2 learners, even though you may not like working in groups, and the reason why we talk about team, because every doctor's office, if you ever go in any place, you go into Ford Motor Company, you can go into Buick, you can go anywhere, and you would see signs all over the wall, you know, sayings, you know, and these sayings are talking about how high you can go, but most of the sayings are talking about teams, because they know that their team, without that teamwork makes the dream work, you know, and that's what you have to realize, you know. And so if you feel like you can't do it, and then we have no weak links. Do you understand? No weak links.
Because you're going to need somebody.
You're learning how to do it. So just because you don't like it doesn't mean you're a weak link. You know, it's in a group. Does that make sense? That means because you're going to learn how, you know,
Everybody can learn from everybody.
Yes. Learners have an abstract, these are stage 3. These are convergers. Okay, y'all listening, because I want y'all to be able to tell me what type of learning y'all is after a while. Learners have an abstract, active style of learning. They prefer to experiment and test the knowledge they learn. They want to know how it works and to apply the learning process to apply the learning to process the material completely. In other words, I hear what you're saying, now I need to do it so I can make sure it's completed and I'm good at it.
Those are the ones that are considered actually hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on, exactly, exactly. Their strengths are in problem solving, decision making, but they tend to be hasty about it. They learn best with hands-on application through projects and laboratory practice. Those are the ones that love lab. They love going into the lab. They love doing things. They learning things, not just the lab computers. They love, you know, application. And see, everybody's different. See, I don't like a lot of paperwork.
I don't need it.
And you love it. So that means that you're good at it. You know, so at the same time, so everybody's different, okay? In a small group setting. Then you have your stage 4, your accommodators. Learners have a concrete, active style of learning. They want to know how they can use what they learn to make a difference in their lives. Okay, as a medical assistant, you should be saying, why am I learning this? How is this gonna, you know, how is this gonna help me in life? How is this gonna help me in the doctor's office? Okay? How is this gonna help me? They like to relate new material to other areas of their lives. These students have leadership potential, are verbal communicators, and prefer unstructured activities. They enjoy teaching and working in groups and learn best when the material is applied to real world problems. That's me. Y'all understand, when I teach and stuff, and the way I learn. You give me a scenario. You give me don't give me no hokey doke, don't give me no fake scenario. You give me the real deal. Because I want to know what the world is saying, how the world is dealing with the situation. Because when I go out there, I don't want to be slapped upside the head with something, and you told me everything's not real. Like for instance, if I tell you all doctors are nice, that's a lie. I'm not going to give you that myth. All doctors are going to speak to you. That's not true. Some doctors snatch stuff out your hands, throw stuff, put stuff, throw things at you. Some doctors can be very mad, very nasty to your co-workers. The world is not nice. So if I sit up there and tell you that lie, I tell you real life scenarios. With students, I tell you real life with students. You got students who do stupid things. That mess up your sites. You got students who do crazy stuff. So I tell you real life scenario. I tell you my testimonies. I tell you things because when you go out there, when it happens, you're going to say, you know what, Ms. Womack said that. And in healthcare field can be a backstabbing field, with a lot of things.
It's almost like when you go into your doctor's office, don't you see how they treat some of the
patient.
Yes.
Yeah. It depends what you're in too.
Yeah, you do.
Because if I go to a south, they treat me more alright. And
I had
all insurance.
The same doctor I had, we accepted Medicaid and we accepted private insurance, right? So he would always tell me if the Medicaid patient came at 8 o'clock and they, he haven't seen them yet. It's like 9 o'clock, 9:30. They're still waiting. And then somebody comes in with a private insurance and they just made it there at 11 o'clock. He tells me, to put the person with the private insurance in before he does the Medicaid people. And I say, I'm not. And so I said, no, I'm not. To me, that was wrong.
Right. I remember when I had Blue Cross Blue Shield. Oh my goodness, I got treated so wonderful.
But we're gonna go through that when we talk about, and she gonna tell you why. I'm having her tell me why, and she know why, and I know she know why. Because Blue Cross Blue Shield, let's give you one scenario. If a doctor go and you get a visit, Blue Cross Blue Shield, that doctor may charge that they have to have a set fee within a certain regional area. But just say that set fee is $165. Guess what? Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's what they can charge. But Medicaid is saying, you know what? Out of that $165 that you just charged the patient, you may get $30.
Like she said yesterday, it's political.
It is very political. Using 4 steps. All 4 learning stages have pluses and minuses. If a learning situation does not match your learning preference, adapt your learning to make the best of the information. Apply lecture material to a real world problem or case study. That's why, we're going to read over some case studies. So you guys can see real life case studies, things that you're going to probably experience. Think about new material outside of the class so you can analyze it and process it. Organize study groups and review sessions. Teach material to a classmate. Teach the material to a classmate to help you learn, basically. And I'm gonna tell you guys what that means. Time management. This is a big one because we got a problem with this. Do you feel in control of your time, or do you think other people in situations control it? How many of you guys know how to tell people no?
I do. Can you say no in a nice way?
Yeah, no. You gotta be like Nike, just do it. Because of the fact you gotta let people know, especially somebody calling you, girl, or man, let's go out here, whatever. Let's do this, let's do that, and before you know, you got a test the next day, and you go and you do it, and then what? And then you end up failing. So you're under my control. Time management skills can help you deal effectively with the demands on your time. Effective time management is crucial to your success as a student and a future healthcare profession. Putting time on your side can happen if you implement a variety of time management skills. You have to plan it. Plan it. I remember my brother came out of Vietnam and I was like 3 years old. I never forget. I could see it like yesterday. And I used to stay with them in LA a lot. And when I was moving to LA, he used to always have this yellow pad. Every day would be sitting, on the table just like this every single day. you know, and every single day he had an immaculate handwriting. But every single, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I noticed that when he come home in the day, he would draw a line through it, you know. And one day I asked him, I said, what is that? He said, he called me Putt Putt, no child. Ginger is my nickname, but anyway, he would go, well, he said, well, Ginger, he says, that's for me to help me with my time and to let me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And things he don't do, he puts it on the next day, so to make sure my computer's gone. Anyway, so you guys understand that. Let me go ahead and do this because I don't think I have a charger in my other computer. I think it fits it. I did that last night and I saw that thing. I saw it and then you know. Yeah, I think it's 2. No. But it's I hate to do that. Miss Westerman may have hers, but I think she has the same kind of mine. I use this one for my grades. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this, you guys. I'm on the floor. Let's keep going. I need you guys right now to go ahead and turn, because we're going to finish our lecture. Because I want to give you guys this. So I want you guys to go ahead and make it happen. We got a few minutes. On page 12.
Damn. I mean, that caught me all the way off guard.
All about that. See the way my life is set up.
I don't even got enough juice in my highlighter for that. I was joking. No, I was joking. I was joking.
I'm gonna buy some probably today or tomorrow.
I'm sitting thinking, I'm slowly
Just have some in
looking
there.
at highlighting a lot of stuff.
You sure can. This lotion is for us. Anything I buy is for us. It's just that other people think it's for them too.
Yo, this thing.
Okay, okay. All right. On page 21, I need you guys to go ahead and
12.
12. That's a 12. Yeah, y'all see them.
You need another donut?
My dyslexia kicked in. Look, my dyslexia. I'm gonna sit down here for a minute. You guys help me out. I'm ready to learn.
Look, I'm sitting there on the other side of
Okay, I need you guys to highlight encounter.
Who?
Encounter starts with
So we don't have to know all these things.
It'd be nice for you to know.
Pandemic. Standards. And you're going to realize that some of these things I'm not going to do because of the fact is you're going to see them, most of these words you're going to keep seeing them over and over again. So basically, these are some of the words I want just going to be on your final. Okay. Then I want you to, okay, and then I want triage. On page 13, triage. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's it. Okay. So again, encounter any contract between a healthcare provider and a patient that results in treatment or evaluation of patient condition. So when you go into the doctor's office and the patient see the doctor, you just had a what? Encounter. Okay, so those are the things I want you guys to read over, okay? Because you guys are going to see those, basically, you may see maybe one on your test or something, but they definitely will be on your mid-module, okay? Next one. The ones I actually highlight.
They're gonna be on my
Mid-module, and that's going to be we're gonna go over all that today, so I want you guys to be set. Okay, turn to page, I'm trying to see if I can find, because we come back.
Chapter 2 is like forever long.
I want you guys to be, on page 26. In the healthcare field, you gotta know basically the different types of doctors and what they do. Because once you finish as a medical assistant, you really, if you're real good and you take yourself to another level, then you'll find out that you can end up working for different specialists, okay? But you got to apply yourself.
We need to know all these.
I'm gonna let you guys highlight the ones you need, okay? So.
Mark the ones that she sent to Mark for vocabulary.
They died.
I was just.
So there's only 4 words. We're page 26, she hasn't been 7 yet.
That's kind of like everybody goes.
I thought we come up at 6 like.
I don't like the phone. I changed the number.
Okay, you guys, let me send you guys, to, where I should guys, you know what a business office is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I need 8 of you guys, so 4 of you guys